have one less responsibility you can scratch off of your list.
Merry Christmas to me. That's great, and it has been a fun 2 years doing this, and I can't wait to see what Todd does with it when he gets in this role. But yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone. It's December 14th, so if you're not ready, you better get there. It's coming fast. So good luck to everyone, and hope everyone has a wonderful holiday time with family. It is my pleasure to introduce Tim Todd, the Executive Director of Discover Upcountry. Tim is going to speak to us for the majority of today's TATT Chat. And then special thanks to Kelly McWhorter and Heather Harley, Heather, for speaking to us with the community resource updates. And then this is going to disappoint a lot of people, but I'm going to have to sneak off and I'm not going to be able to adjourn everyone. So whatever the discussion was about getting out just a little bit early, you might get a little bit earlier now that I won't be there for the adjournment. But with that, I will turn it over to Tim, and we appreciate you being with us.
All right. Thank you, David. Sorry, I'm not going to be at the end, so good news is we can talk about you a little bit once you leave here, but no, it's all right. All right, Billy's on the call now. Great to have Billy Dunlap from One Spartanburg join us. And also I see Curtis Hunter join us too, who's with the tourism program in Union County. So Mike can get Curtis to chime in a little bit about what's going on in Union as well. So all right, with that, I'll see if I can do this technological thing. I did a trial run with Dean yesterday because as many Zoom calls as I've been on in the last 3 years, I've never shared a screen before on one of these because I'm always on the other end of it. So let's see if this works like I did in rehearsal with my PowerPoint. Yeah. Looks like it's working. Is it working, Justine? Are we good? Cool. All right. Go through these first several slides pretty quickly. Hopefully, a number of you have heard about us at some point. We've been around since 1978, so we've been trying to fleece tourists since about 1980 when they hired their first director, and I've been here since late 1989. So just marked 34 years of doing that from here. So we are a 501c6 nonprofit organization, but our mission is to promote tourism as an economic activity in Anderson, Cherokee, Greenville, Oconee, Pickens, and Spartanburg counties. We were actually formed under Appalachian Council of Governments. I mean, many of you I know are familiar with Appalachian Council of Governments and what they do for infrastructure and all the economic development and things that they do. So we were started under the COG in 1978 and then kind of went out on our own in 1980. And so we still align with them on a number of things. But so as you'll see, we promote 6 of the 10 at the top counties. So we have 4 others. So Union County is part of the Old English District tourism region. There are 11 tourism regions in South Carolina that cover anywhere from 2 to 7, up to 7 counties. We do 6. So Union is part of the Old English District, which is a 7-county district over in the kind of north central part of the state. And then Abbeville, Greenwood, and Lawrence counties are part of the Old 96 district. It has those three counties plus Edgefield and McCormick are the Old 96 district counties. So, and then of course within our area we have a number of other organizations like Visit Greenville, One Spartanburg, Visit Oconee, Union County, Pickens County Tourism, Visit Anderson, all have tourism programs, more local tourism programs. So we're kind of the one that promotes on at the 30,000 foot level to a degree. We promote, we focus on the leisure side of things, whereas a lot of the CVBs focus on meetings and group business, sports tourism, those types of things. So that's where we differ. We work very closely with all of our partners in the area, both not only within our region, but throughout the whole state. And PRT, South Carolina Parks, Recreation, Tourism, is not only where a good bit of our funding comes through the state budget, but also we're partners with them on a daily basis, doing things from whether it's the welcome centers or the state parks or the marketing office or whatever it might be to further tourism in this part of South Carolina. So what here are some of the things we do. We target leisure traveler. A lot of what we do is emphasize the outdoor activities. In our 6 counties, we have 80,000 acres of national forest over in Oconee County. We have 3 major lakes and a number of smaller lakes in our area: Hartwell, Jocassee, Keowee, and several others. A lot of rural areas. 13 state parks in our 6 counties, and I think if we add the other 4 counties in, there's probably another 4 or 5 state parks in there. So we're very blessed with state parks in our area, not to mention things like heritage preserves and other outdoor opportunities. Somewhere around 150 waterfalls in our area, all types of things like that. So that's a lot of the things that you see that we do. We're focusing on those types of outdoor activities. But also, the festivals, events, golf, just anything and everything. My elevator speech is we try to get people to come here, spend all their money, go home with empty pockets and a smile on their face. So we will promote whatever it takes to get folks here. We will work to promote them to get those folks here. Geographic and demographic markets, we primarily target the Southeast. That's where I kind of use a fishing analogy. We know where a lot of our fish are, and they're in the ponds of Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia, and other parts of the Southeast. We cast a wider net sometimes to other parts of the country and internationally, but most of where we know we can catch fish are in the Southeast. Demographics, primarily we're kind of a family and couples market, so we're kind of targeting sort of 35 to 70 age families, couples, but so that's who we target primarily, though there's some other ones depending on some of the niche markets that we go after. We still do a fair amount of print media. That's, a few years ago, everybody was saying print's dead, everything's going digital. Let's just go to digital media and forget about all these magazines and other print. But we found that actually some of our print media works better now than it did a few years ago. So we'll continue to do that. But we are doing a lot on both digital, Google search, things like that, but also social media, primarily Facebook, but we're working to do a little bit more on Instagram. Not on TikTok, don't plan to be on TikTok, but Instagram is growing more and more, so we'll be doing a little bit more of that pretty soon. Here's just a few of the media outlets that we do, and you'll see they're travel related, outdoor related, all those types of things. So that's where we put a good number of our resources as we're trying to get people to come visit this area. Marketing tools we use, we have an annual visitors guide we're working on right now. This year we actually did a printed map. Again, everybody's like, why do you do printed maps? Digital, everybody has GPS, digital. People still love printed maps, and that's been a very popular resource that we just did this year and will continue to do. Of course, our website, and we have a couple of sub websites for waterfalls. There's one of the most popular things in our area. And for Scenic Highway 11, the Cherokee Foothills Scenic Byway, we have a niche website for that. We also, in partnership with Ken and some other folks, produce a waterfalls brochure. And on our e-newsletter, we have over 65,000 subscribers now. So we hit those folks at least once a month with our e-newsletter. And on Facebook, we have 145,000 followers, and we reach that and then some with the advertising that we do on Facebook. We do a few travel shows and events, not that many. Bassmaster Classic's a big one, and that event has been in Greenville and on Lake Hartwell with Anderson for I think 4 times in the past 15 years, and hopefully it'll be back again within the next couple of years. So we attend that, but when it's here, but also when it's in other areas close to us. It was in Knoxville this year, and we attended there to promote fishing in our area. International adventure travel shows, we've done a few of those in Atlanta and a couple of other markets in our area. And we work with some of the local events when we have so many people coming in. We use those events like the BMW Charity Pro-Am and Euphoria, who are bringing in travel writers and press to cover those events and kind of try to maximize to those folks to not only cover those events, but also to learn about the area and hopefully write some things not only about those events, but about the area as well. PR, we host a number of travel writers, editors, and now influencers, the YouTubers and the Instagram folks and things like that. We work and depend greatly on our South Carolina Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism do that to help bring those folks in, and we work. Are a lot of times the one that the writer might contact, and then they will feed them to us as we try to take care of them when they come here. And so and throughout the year, we'll do several press tours and other media events and things like that as well. Just a few numbers, economic impact for South Carolina. This is 2019 year because since then everything's kind of been a little wonky, and so that's that was a great year. It was a kind of a record year for most of us, and definitely for South Carolina and our area of South Carolina. But since then, things, and I'll show some numbers on the next slide. They kind of show the ups and downs a little bit, but that was a great year. And so since pandemic, and as we're keep emerging from the pandemic, our baseline, or our goal is to get back to 2019 and hopefully beyond. And I think in a lot of cases, and you'll see that in the information that I think Billy's going to share with him, what he shared from Greenville, we're kind of back to 2019 and even surpassed it in a number of areas. So it's been good to 20 and 21, not so much, but since late 21 into 22 and through 23, I think we're back pretty strong. So so there's some of those numbers. So one of the metrics that we pay close attention to, maybe more than all the others, is the accommodations tax collections. If you stay in a hotel or a campground or about any lodging facility in South Carolina, at the bottom of the bill, there will be a 2% charge for state accommodations tax. Maybe some other charges for local accommodations tax and other fees too, but the state accommodations tax is one that is in all 46 counties. So, and we pay close attention to it because that's about where a third of our funding comes from, and probably for Kelly and Billy and others, it may be even more of a percentage of their budget than it is ours. So again, 2019 was a great year, kind of probably I think a record-setting year for with over $7.5 million collected. You see there was a pretty good drop in 2020. This is fiscal year too, so it's kind of July to June. So the 2019 would be July of 18 through June of 19, and then like that for the other years. So again, you saw a dip in 2021, 22 though, another record year and this is for the 6 counties that we cover. And so what happened, I think that if you look at it county by county, not only did Greenville and Spartanburg and the bigger areas kind of get back to business and bring the groups and the large sporting events and things like that back, but what happened during the pandemic was places like Oconee County, Pickens County, but also northern Greenville, the outdoor activities that I've been trying to get people to come here for 34 years, and some of them came, but guess what happened during the pandemic? People couldn't go to gather in large groups, so they started visiting our state parks, they started camping, they started hiking to waterfalls. We had people hiking. It was a record business, I know, in Oconee County and during the pandemic for the emergency services folks, because they had to go rescue people all the time on hiking trails that were trying to hike to a waterfall in flip-flops. So people who might have not experienced the outdoors before experienced the outdoors during the pandemic in our area. And so again, with all of the resources that we have, particularly in these 6 counties, but also in the other counties, the other 4 counties, that helped us bring business that we might not have seen before, and I think it's been sustaining so far. So 2022 record year. 23, this is really for the first 4 months, but if it goes at that pace, it's going to be even about a 10% increase over 22. So all those numbers look good. The other metrics that we looked at all are looking good. So my concern is I must be missing something, because it can't be all this good. There's something that I'm not understanding right now. So just a few things about the emergence from COVID. Not only do we see an increase in visitation to all those areas, we saw a tremendous increase in the short-term rentals and again, camping and those type of occupancy. So, while I know the larger hotels and more urban areas were hurting a little bit, it was, the parks were full, the campgrounds were full. You couldn't find a camper to buy. People who, again, who'd never camped before were buying campers and tents and things like that. So that increased. So all those outdoor activities increased greatly. Attendance at all the parks that we have, and again, between national parks, Cowpens, Kings Mountain, those types of places, a lot of the local parks, all those experienced very high activity during those things. The groups, again, 2021, it was pretty tough, but as soon as they were able to bring those back, they brought a lot of those groups back, and the meeting convention and also the business travel side of things returned. So people, I think, fairly quickly, in most cases, figured out while they could do meetings on Zoom, doing business in person is much better and hopefully more productive, and that's good for the travel and tourism. And again, during the pandemic, there was when people couldn't travel, even if they hadn't traveled before, because when they were told they couldn't travel, then they wanted to travel. So I think that ended up being a good benefit when things did open back up and people were, decided we really should travel. We really should take that vacation time that we haven't used and use it. So, I think we're still somewhat experiencing that there's still been some pent up demand, and I think we're still reaping those benefits. So, all right, that's into mine. I'll go through Heath Dillard y'all had met him. He's just been here about a year now, I think. He had been in Charlotte for a number of years, but is a Spartanburg native and has been leading the Visit Greenville SC group for a little over a year and doing a wonderful job. They're seeing some record numbers, as I mentioned, and here's some of the ones that Heath shared with me to share with you today. Pretty impressive what they've done with economic impact, a number of room nights booked, 204 events last year that as a result of and these are just as a result of their sales efforts. So that's not total for the area. That's just as a result of what Visit Greenville has done. Media impressions, they do a tremendous job in getting bringing in press and media and so forth, and so those are very impressive numbers too. The one that I heard this one yesterday at drop in that Visit Greenville had was $34.9 million in earned media. So articles, both in print and in digital form, the value of that to Greenville was almost $35 million last year. So totally impressive. For 2024, they have 75 new groups coming into Greenville next year, 300 meeting planners that they have met with and are bringing into the market to do a tour of the area and site visits, 400 travel writers and media professionals that they've met with and will be bringing in. From a marketing standpoint, they're doing a brand evolution. They're, not really abandoning it, but you won't hear, that Greenville quite as much. They're kind of tweaking that a little bit, but they are still working heavily to promote on the leisure side of Greenville from that standpoint. They launched the Certified Tourism Ambassador Program this year. I know they've already had several people complete that, and that'll be another thing to where folks that, with attractions, with hotels, with restaurants, with anybody that comes face to face with the traveling public, they have a program that you go through to learn about Greenville and the area and how to service those visitors when they're here and help them out. So several big events they've got coming next year. The HBCU is I got to make sure I get the right. I know what that means, but it's Historically Black Colleges and Universities. They're creating an event they'll be in mid-January around Martin Luther King time, which will entail a basketball tournament. I think they've got either 12 or 14 teams from these universities from primarily around the Southeast that'll be coming in and having a basketball tournament at the Bon Secours Arena. but they will also be working, having other events that go along with that, including an MLK Day event that'll go on. And that's a great piece of thing to bring to Greenville, and it's a great time because January is one of the slower months for groups that come to the area. So they've put something in Greenville and the area that will be a great benefit to the area during a normally slow time. The SEC Women's Basketball Tournament, again, will be back. It was here this year. It'll be back again in 24 and I think in 25 as well. So that's been a big boon for the area and will continue to be again for next year. PRSA, Public Relations Society of America, they're hosting the travel and tourism aspect of the PRSA in June of next year. So that will bring a number of PR professionals to the area. So the event itself will be a great impact to Greenville and the area, but it'll also bring people who will be writing about things, and it'll be a benefit to the area much, long after they've gone back home. So that's a few of the exciting things that are going on with Greenville. I think that finishes my portion of the program. So got a blank screen. Okay. Stop share, found the button. Okay. All right. Okay, at this point, I'll go ahead and introduce Mr. Billy Dunlap with One Spartanburg Inc. And I know he's got some things to share with you too about all the things that they've got going on in Spartanburg. They've got a lot of exciting developments coming up, I know, including a baseball stadium, which I'm excited about, and many other things. So Billy, turn it over to you.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for Dean for putting this together. Excited to have this opportunity. You going to share screen for me, Tim?
No.
I am happy to.
Justine,
I'm happy
to.
There you go. Whoever's got my presentation, please
All right.
share it.
Here we go.
There we go. All right, good. Well, thank you. Like Tim said, my name is Billy Dunlap. I'm the Chief Tourism Development Officer at One Spartanburg, Inc. For those of you who are not familiar with One Spartanburg, so it is a combination of Chamber of Commerce, Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Economic Development. So all of those are under the same umbrella as One Spartanburg, Inc. So it's a very unique model. One of the only one in North and South Carolina, and one of the few across the country. Definitely has its advantages in really what we do every day. So I head up the tourism side of One Spartanburg, and basically just like Greenville has had, we are seeing record-breaking numbers. We used to talk about, okay, let's compare it to 2019. Well, we're kind of past that now. We're just focusing on what we're doing now, not really focusing on 2019. We did for a good while, but we're historically surpassing those numbers. So go ahead and hit that next slide, Justine, please. Thank you very much. So in this current fiscal year, we will host 161 events. The majority of those are sports tourism events, about 125. The rest of them are groups and meetings. So we have one large conference space in Spartanburg, which is the Spartanburg Marriott. So we have limited availability on large groups, but we are excited to host 161 events this current fiscal year. But that ranges from softball, baseball, basketball, volleyball. We do a lot of cross country, disc golf. We're doing some unique things that I never even knew existed. We're hosting a cubing championship, CUBING. So those of you who are my age, we used to do the Rubik's Cube. There is a competition for that now. So we're hosting about 325 participants in that. So a lot of good things going on. If you can hit that next slide. So these are some of the events that we're hosting this current year. Top Gun Sports is doing a good bit of baseball and softball. National Junior College Athletic Association, we hosted their Division II Softball World Series. We had 16 teams from across the country. That is a 2-year bid, so we will have it again next year, and that will be 20 teams in 2024. South Carolina High School League, we hosted the 5A Boys Golf Championships, the first time that we've been able to host that. Other events that we've done, USA Softball, we host multiple events with them, as well as Premier Girls Fast Pitch. Tiger River Park, Spartanburg County Parks Department does a fantastic job with that facility, one of the premier softball, baseball facilities in the country. And, you know, it's great to work with those guys. We hosted a large Adidas basketball event that was a national event. And then last month we hosted the NCAA Division I cross country regionals, which was every Division I cross country team in the Southeast came to Spartanburg and ran the regional men's and women's to qualify for the Division I national championships. Next slide. So probably our most high profile group that we will have in 2024 is Rendezvous South. Those of you who are in this business know what Rendezvous South is, but it'll bring about 100 meeting planners to Spartanburg. Last year it was in Knoxville. So we will host that February 26th, 27th, and 28th. So about 100 meeting planners will be in the market. You know, just a great time for exposure, not only of Spartanburg, but the upstate of South Carolina. I know there's some other destinations in the upstate that are coordinating either fam tours or meetings around Rendezvous South to get some of those meeting planners into their destinations. So we are very excited about that. Next slide. So direct spending. So we have just started tracking our direct spending through the Destinations International Economic Impact Calculator. So we started that July 1. So right now we're on target for right at $21 million in direct spending in 23-24 during that fiscal year. So this will kind of be the bar that we set for us as far as tracking the impact to the local economy. Before we were just tracking room nights. That was our measuring stick, so to speak. Last year we did about 54,000 room nights. So we've kind of pushed room nights to the side and focusing mainly on direct spending. We feel like that is more of an inclusive way to track the impact in the local economy. Next slide. So hotel revenue, and this is for the current fiscal year. We're at $95.4 million in hotel revenue, which I will compare to 2019 for this. We're up 14.8% over what 2019 numbers. We're seeing really historic numbers as far as occupancy, as far as revenue. RevPAR, really all of those things. You know, we're driving pretty significant rate in downtown on the weekends. Next slide. So room night demand for this current year is 991,000. That's up right at 8% over 2019. Next slide. So this is our new destination guide. So we are transitioning, and this will actually happen January 1st. And this is actually the first group that I've said this to. We are transitioning away from Visit Spartanburg. That has been our travel brand. We're now going to Experience Spartanburg. And the reason we're doing that is the majority, so our marketing inside of One Spartanburg is catered to bringing visitors into the destination. But what that does is we use it for talent recruitment. We use it for recruitment for students coming to one of our 7 colleges or universities. We do it for industry relocation, for economic development. So it really encompasses everything that One Spartanburg does. So we kind of felt like Visit didn't really fit with what we're doing. So we're now going to the brand of Experience Spartanburg. Our corporate brand will still be One Spartanburg, but for marketing, we will focus on Experience Spartanburg. This is our destination guide from this current year. We will have a new one that'll come out in February. But this just showcases this is not only a destination guide for visitors, but it's also a relocation guide for potential new residents that are moving into the market. So before I got to Spartanburg, we had a relocation guide and we had a destination guide. We've now combined those and shared messaging on that. That is more of a content-driven piece. We currently have hotel stands in all of our hotels. Of course, they're in all the welcome centers, but this is kind of our signature piece of what we're using to market Spartanburg. So I think that's it for me. I'll be glad to answer any questions, but again, Tim and Dean, I appreciate the opportunity and excited about what the future holds for tourism in the upstate of South Carolina.
All right. Thanks, Billy. Appreciate all that. And at this point, we'll turn it over to Miss Kelly McWhorter with Greenwood. There you go. You unmuted. Good job. All right, Kelly, take it away.
Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Gonna do this show. Yay. Okay, so for those of you who don't know much about Greenwood, we are directly between Greenville, South Carolina and Augusta, Georgia. Even though I know this is an upstate group, a lot of people still they're not very familiar with our community. So I always like to kind of give you an idea of where we're located. Because we're near Augusta, Georgia, the Masters is a huge week for us with hotel revenue. And we're grateful for that opportunity to host a lot of the Masters patrons. But the other 11 months out of the year, we have to be pretty creative in our marketing. And I'm just going to share with you a few of the campaigns that we've done in 2023, a little bit about the revenue that we've been able to increase since obviously COVID, but also since we began. This organization spun out of our Chamber of Commerce in 2006. And I was fortunate enough to help get it going, and it's been a fun ride so far. So as we talk about our accomplishments in marketing, we usually do one a quarter. The first one we will do again in January is focusing on our restaurants, because after Christmas it gets a little slow for our hospitality. So we focus on in Greenwood, our diverse cuisine offerings. So we started a World of Cuisine marketing campaign last year, and we took that into the Masters, and we'll do that again, because what we do is we geo-fence the Masters patrons, and we track their cell phones. And when they come back out of the Masters and they turn their cell phones on, they're usually going to see our World of Flavor ad pop up if they're on golf.com or masters.org. So we make sure they know about Greenwood as soon as they hop back in their vehicle. So World of Cuisine this year in 24, we're going to do something different where we're going to issue a passport. You can buy a passport for $60. We've got a number of different restaurants participating, so you can take that passport around to other restaurants and get a sample of some of their offerings. And the idea is to have them stay and enjoy a meal at one of these restaurants. So we're anxious to see how that's going to go. Obviously, if you haven't heard, the South Carolina Festival of Flowers is a huge event in Greenwood in June, and we have 55 topiaries as part of the signature topiary display. So this past year, we thought it'd be cool to show the life of a topiary from start to finish. So we focused on the butterfly. And we showed him when he was just beginning. And then we took it all the way through a video campaign to when the butterfly went out to meet all the rest of his friends in Uptown Greenwood. And it was a hugely successful campaign. As you can imagine, people were staying tuned to the ins and the outs and how well the butterfly was flourishing. Fall is a great time of year in Greenwood. We've got lots of things to do on Lake Greenwood. The lake is a little calmer after Labor Day. So we did a Fall in Love with Greenwood giveaway, and we've got a number of different things that we offer people. And you can register for that on our microsite. And then, of course, if you've not been to Greenwood during the holidays, I would encourage you to come. We are dressed up for Christmas, and we've got a number of life-size ornaments. We've got a number of trees that are decorated with big multicolored ornaments. If you haven't been to Connie Maxwell Children's Home, that campus is just gorgeous decorated, and they will have their decorations up through, I think, the remainder of the year. So Greenwood has a lot to offer in the holidays, and we market that through our Jingle and Mingle campaign. And that basically allows you to go onto the site and see all of the holiday events that are taking place. And there are a lot of them. Some of the things that we did in addition to World of Flavor is just like I think Greenville has a hospitality program, we also kicked one off this year called Let's Discover Greenwood. And we have done a session almost every month. So we've probably got about 75 official ambassadors for Let's Discover Greenwood at this point. And we're planning 2024. And again, our program is similar. It is geared towards hospitality and lodging professionals who can better serve their visitors, our visitors, with more information about our community. We've gotten a ton of interest from our industrial sector. We're 40% manufacturing based here in Greenwood. So we're actually going to go out into the field and train some of the newcomers with manufacturers, as well as focus on the hospitality industry and the lodging industry. We also have some presence in print. We are going to be featured in Food and Travel this fall, and after the first of the year in 2024. We participate with Southern Edge. The Chamber of Quality of Life Guide is one of our biggest marketing tools for newcomers. So this is a little bit of a review of where we began. Many years ago in 2006, our budget was not even $175,000 at that point, and our income was just a little shy of $200,000 total. Now we're looking at an over $500,000 budget, and as of 2023, we're looking really good. And I think we're going to be able to say we've collected almost $450,000 for Little Greenwood. That's pretty remarkable, and I'm proud of the efforts and the marketing and the events that we're able to host to make revenue numbers like that happen. We've got a number of different allocations. We are funded by a local city 3% accommodations tax and a local county 3% accommodations tax. And then as the primary DMO, we get the state a tax. We get a portion of that as well. So we all saw the dips in 2020, but we're back up and running. And honestly, 21 ended up being a pretty good year for us. And I have yet to explain why, but I think some of the campaigns that we did in recovery from COVID, I think that contributed to that. And also we have a number of construction projects going on, tons of housing. We're expecting to grow by 2,400 more housing units in the community in the next 24 months. So that's a lot of growth for Greenwood. One of the big events that we have been hosting for a number of years, and it's really one of our best producing events, is the American Junior Golf Greenwood Championship. This past year, we did something a little bit unique. We had 2 tournaments in 1 week. That was great for us. It was very, very challenging for the AJGA staff. But what they did was they hosted their normal junior championship, and then they hosted another tournament for brand new AJGA members. These are youth ages 12 to 18. So we were able to allow 78 brand new members the opportunity to play in their first tournament in Greenwood. And you can see that that was a significant economic impact of $480,000. And we're grateful to the AJGA for considering us all these years. And since they have arrived in Greenwood, they have helped us gain an economic impact of 1.2 million. We will host that event again next year. We're going to host it right on the heels of the Masters in April, and we're looking forward to having them again. Just like Billy rolled out his new destination guide, I am rolling out plans for a new destination center. And we're excited about this opportunity. We won't be going far. We're going to be going to a space just down Main Street. Our office is currently in the Art Center on Main Street, and about 4 spaces down, there is an old building. We call it in Greenwood the PALS building because it hosted a PALS organization years ago. And we've done some design comps, we've done some estimates, and we're ready to roll. All we need is money. And so we're working on that. These are the plans. Lots of neat ideas that are going to be executed for this visitor center, and we can't wait to have our space and to be a true sales center for Greenwood. And speaking of visitors, one of the other things that we accomplished this year is we became a member of the Front Porch program. We became a certified visitor center through the state PRT. So it is my pleasure to turn over this portion to Heather. Heather is with South Carolina Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, and I'm going to let her tell y'all a little bit about the program and how people can become involved in it.
Well, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate y'all having me here today to talk about the program. It's been up and running just a few months, so it's a great time to learn some more about it. And let me just go ahead and share my screen here. All right, so it's called the Front Porch Program, and our purpose is to work with our partners in the tourism community across South Carolina, and that's to build a network that was not previously there as far as the actual visitor center network, and grow the state's economy through that visitation of a South Carolina or regional welcome center. So to become a certified welcome center through PRT, we have an 8-step application process. So the first is you must have a consistent visitor experience. So you can't just see Joe Blow you don't like coming down the road and lock your door. You have to be consistent and give everyone the same experience that comes through your door. Have public restrooms available. As far as state welcome centers go, we all know, we're going to get them on the way back, but they're going to the bathroom. So we know that's always important. Maintaining regular open hours. If we send someone somewhere, we want to make sure that if we tell them they're going to be open, that they are. And so we work with our partners to make sure that we're keeping up with their hours as well. If we send someone somewhere. And then you have to be a public nonprofit or DMO or destination marketing organization owned and operated center. So you can't have, a restaurant be where your welcome center is. Step 5 is to have a business or sustainability plan. That's just to make sure that, you have a plan going forward. It can be the general plan that the chamber or CVB uses. We've accepted a wide variety. We just want to make sure that there's a plan going forward, so we're not sending people somewhere and then they get there and they've closed up shop. Display brochures pertaining to your region, and a lot of our certified centers also display brochures from across South Carolina. And part of this is to also provide training to our visitor centers across the state, because if they're going somewhere in South Carolina, the odds are they're going to go somewhere else in South Carolina as well. And so we'll make sure that we have that information for our guests. And they agreed to receive an annual visit from our program manager or coordinator, and to make sure that all of their criteria is met and maintained every year. So once a year, they get to see my lovely face and come through and make sure everything is still in the same condition that we found it in to be certified in the first place. And then it's just a one-time application fee of $75. We wanted to make sure this program was open and accessible to all of our partners, no matter the budget. So we made sure that anything additional is an add-on cost, as far as if you do like a mini study tour with us, or if you do our conference, but being part of the program is just a one-time fee. And then the overall goal is to set and complete Welcome Center sites within a month of the application approval. The good and bad part of this is my goal for this program starting out in July was to get 15 applicants, and I got 35 in about 6 weeks. So that was a little hard to get to all of them within that month, but I really try. And once they are approved, they are given a press release announcement, and it comes along with a photo op as well. So some of the perks of the program fall under promotion, which is they are promoted by the state welcome centers as a certified visitor center. They're also in our official visitors guide. It premieres in February. So, and they'll have their own little blurb in there, and they get highlighted in there as well. And we promote visitors to visit that area as they come through our centers. They can also receive bulk orders of state maps, guides, some of our more niche literature that we send out. We have one called Satisfy Your Thirst, which is about all the places you can find local beer, wine, moonshine, all the good things. We also have a state barbecue trail map as well. And then training, we have a few different opportunities, including the annual seminar, which brings all of our certified centers together in one spot and gives an open discussion forum for everyone to talk about, what's going on in their centers, what are the highs, what are the lows, the complications, the questions, and bringing that networking together. We also have a behind the scenes training opportunity at the Welcome Center that's closest to them. So all of our state Welcome Center staff are required to be nationally certified. And so we put a lot of training effort into our staff and our centers, and we open that up to our partners to also share that training as well. We also have our annual South Carolina Welcome Center conference that we hold in different areas throughout the state once a year. And this is the first year we've ever opened it up to partners to attend as well. So it's a 3-day conference, and we have various different topics we talk about, but we focus a lot on guest service, a lot on things like inventory. The history of tourism was one of our topics this year. So we do a variety of topics. And then we also are starting to do a mini fam tour as well, just for our certified partners. And this is going to feed into the National Certified Travel Counselor test they're able to take as well. I know Kelly's working on her studying that she's got going on there. It is a 250 question test, fill in the blank, and it encompasses a lot of different topics. Everything from having to name all the state parks, the counties. It has guest service topics, history, geography, the state seal, you name it, it's on there. But like I said, it's through the U.S. Travel Association, and it is a National Certified Travel Counselor test. So they've become designated as a National Certified Travel Counselor for South Carolina. Some of the success criteria of the program is the biggest really is data. And we're looking, as we look forward, as we move with this program, our goal is to make sure that we are getting more people out into these regional centers. And we're sending some of our guests that we have 5 million guests a year that come through our state welcome centers. And so we want to make sure that we are sending those out to the regional and local centers as well, and getting them that business, and providing a step to increase their economic impact in their area. So we look for increased visitation and brochure data year over year. And then we look for consistency. Like I said, we want to make sure everyone's getting the same experience as they go through South Carolina. So, you know, any state welcome center you stop at, you're going to have the same experience of knowledge and a smiling face. And so we want to make sure that as we go through South Carolina and our regional and local centers, we also have that same experience as well. Because if you have a good experience one place, you're more likely to go back or visit somewhere else that is along the same lines, another visitor center. And then we also are looking to help our partners network and grow with their networking. A lot of our partners are smaller, and they sometimes struggle to have questions about, you know, where do I order this, or, you know, what's the best plan moving forward with this type of marketing material. And so really building that networking base to help them with that. So thus far, like I said, this program launched in July of this year. We sent it out to all of our partners across, our tourism partners across South Carolina. It was our first year, so we were like, okay, well, we'll just hope for about 15 programs, you know, max. And that's, well, in the first month, we had over 25, which is a great problem to have. I had to order more supplies and get some more goodies to go give out to people, because by the end of August, I had run out. And now we have 35 certified program members across the state. And that's large and small destination marketing organizations, including everywhere from Visit Greenville, Greenwood. We've got Lawrence County, Abbeville, Myrtle Beach. I mean, we have a wide variety of budget types and demographic types. So it's really been a fun thing to watch this program grow and explode so quickly. And we look forward to continuing to grow the program and provide that training and opportunity for all of our members. So, and I think that's all I have right now.
All right, thanks, Heather. Appreciate that, and Kelly and Billy as well. So, Dean, you know, given us 5 minutes to talk. You notice all of us took about 15 instead of 5, so that's kind of the way it works. We're almost as bad as some politicians, I know. So we hopefully we do have a few minutes for questions. So, Dean, are there any in the?
I have a couple to kick off, and it looks like we did have one come in, but I'm gonna combine 2 questions into one for both Billy and Kelly. One of the themes that seem to resonate from both of you, as well as Greenville, is the continued growth of some form of outdoor or indoor, but athletic events in your strategy. Billy, you said that almost a majority of your events are focused, are sporting events of some kind. So I wanted to find out from both of you kind of how that has evolved and what markets you promote, if that's just within the local areas, the Southeast region, or if you look outside, like I know Easily hosts a national Dixie Youth event most years. And of course, we've had the NCAA basketball and other things here in the upstate. So that's one of my questions. And I'll piggyback the other one because we are running out of time. Is we have a lot of emphasis here in the upstate on giving the opportunity for everybody to experience the great things we have in the region. So I wondered if you have any events, or the communities that you work in have events that they specifically, or ways within, other events that you make sure that people with a physical disability or cognitive disabilities, those kind of things, have opportunities to participate in the programs and events that you guys have. So Billy, I'll let you start and then go to Kelly.
Okay, well, I'll kind of start with the last one first. We have not hosted an event specifically for that demographic. That is something that we are actively looking for when we're out recruiting events. But it's something that we currently do not host. Going to the first part of the question, we've got a good mix of indoor and outdoor areas that we can use. The Milliken Arboretum is one of the key places for cross country. Tiger River Park. We are also using the Star Center, which used to be the Upward Star Center, have some availability there. So, we've kind of got a good cross section of between indoor and outdoor. We're always looking at how we can utilize our outdoor recreation amenities to bring people in. We do recruit on a national level. We try to focus on events that are bringing people from outside of 90 miles. We feel like that's got the biggest impact in the community. But we're also, a large part of what two meetings I had today were on facility development. What's next? We've got great facilities, but what's next? So that's a large part of what we're doing now as well.
Great, thank you. Kelly?
We actually do have some examples of some sports that are accommodating for disabilities. We just recently hosted at our Lander Equestrian Center the South Carolina Special Olympics equestrian division, and we are going to do that again in April. We're also, as Billy mentioned about facility development, we're renovating a huge sports complex through the county capital project sales tax, and that complex will feature an all-inclusive playground. And because we are home to Burton Center, we feel like this is going to be a really big win for us, and it will help us hopefully recruit different things, more events. The complex is also going to have disc golf and lots of softball facilities and baseball facilities. So that's going to be a huge win for us. And we do also recruit nationally. A number of us in the state belong to the South Carolina Sports Alliance, and we're always attending shows together, piggybacking off of what assets we do and do not have. And we work well together, not just as CVBs, but as a state as a whole. I think our upstate group is pretty strong in that regard. And so it's been a great group for us to be a part of. And that's one of the ways that we recruit. And I can't neglect that we have some awesome champions. We have some great leaders in our community. They see the sports tourism as a huge asset for Greenwood. They understand the value of it. And we've even gone so far as to have some local folks that have some interesting facilities. We have one guy who's a world championship skier, and we've hosted regional water ski championships here at his farm on his lake. He has now reached out to me. He also, on the other part of his farm, has a motorcycle track. We're going to host a national motorcycle race in November of next year. So I have to credit our community and their enthusiasm, and I'm lucky. I have a lot of champions here that want to make things happen in Greenwood.
Awesome. Well, as we wrap up, I want to thank both of you, and also Heather and Tim, absolutely you, for coordinating this. We had Ken and Curtis both on, and so we need to do this again to make sure we're covering some of our other counties, because there's so much going on in the tourism landscape in the upstate region. So stay tuned. We will definitely cover this topic again. And I think it's great to hear Kelly talk about collaboration and them working together. I know at one time that was not as much the case, but with the group now, I'm glad that there is more connectivity amongst the tourism folks, because it's definitely an area where you can help each other, and having folks like Tim who have been around for a long time definitely have an impact to that. So with that, I want to finish by David is gone, but again want to thank him for all of his leadership as our chair and host of these sessions. I also want to thank most especially Justine for all of her work coordinating these throughout the year. And again, as we move forward into next year, we will be back with our next TATT Chat on the 11th of January. We're finalizing the speaker. It will more than likely be another economic development update for the beginning of the year, because we all want to know what the economy is going and what the future holds. So with that, I want to wish everyone a happy holidays, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year.
Thanks, Dean.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.